Hello, welcome to another episode and movie review of the Renaissance Geek. I promise I will do the RuPaul's Drag Race on Tuesday, which it will be the 29th, I believe. March 29th. Because I still will need to do it, but I need to watch. I'll watch tonight's episode and I'll give you the recap of the first, four episodes. I'll write it down because that way I know. Looks like I'll be on YouTube a lot. Or actually, Logo, I think will be playing the first three before the episode starts. But anyways, over the weekend, Saturday be specific, it's March 26th, my other half, Edward, and our roommate went to see Batman vs. Superman, the Dawn of Justice. And so I'm going to do a review about the movie, and this is what this podcast is going to be, or a vlog, as I keep on being told. It's a vlog, not a podcast. Well, you know what? That's mine. I could call it what I want. I let people pick the name of the of this podcast, which is the Renaissance Geek. Thanks to Jeannie Koch, who suggested that as well, and there was somebody else who made another suggestion, but unfortunately, Renaissance Geek came out. But anyway, so let's talk about Batman vs. Superman. I thought it was good. I really liked it. I am a comic book geek. I grew up with DC Comics, Marvel, even Archie. I still, Afterlife with Archie, I love that. We bought the trade paperbacks. Or the graphic novels, excuse me, that just recently came out with Afterlife with Archie. But, so, if you're a comic book person, yes, you'll like this. Let's just say it was a summer movie. So don't expect, an Oscar, script. The acting was well done. The script leaves something to be desired for. The whole Batman versus Superman fight argument, which is basically almost one-sided, just didn't work for me. Halfway through the movie, I got tired of Batman's whiny, bitching, excuse my language, but complaining about Superman. And I was just thinking to myself, well, just get over it. There's other things to really battle, and you're just completely pining on somebody. And so I had a bit of an issue with that. Ben Affleck as Batman was very good. I liked his Batman. Does every Batman movie have to show with his parents dying, though? Don't we already know the lore of that? I do like the fact that they showed how he found the Batcave, but I'm kind of tired of seeing his parents die in everything whenever they introduce Batman. It could be done, talking about it. It could be done even in a quick flashback, but that was like about 10 minutes worth. And that was a little too long. I'm like, yeah. But then so was the Kevin Costner scene. I got all excited thinking, we're going to go to the Fortress of Solitude, and it's Kevin Costner. I'm not a fan of Kevin Costner. I haven't been for a while. He just got stuck on his name and his brand, and that's it. So, but the other thing I had an issue with about the movie is I am so flippin' done with this shaky cam. I don't want to be in the middle of the action. I want to see the action in, either close up or from a distance, so you could see everything and see what the choreography of the fight scene, what that person had in mind. I don't want to be rolling around with the people, with the actors anymore. Just film it to where you could see the action, especially when you're watching this in 3D, which we did. And I started getting a headache from it because, hey, I don't want to roll around with these people. Quite honestly, Henry and Ben are not my type. So I don't want to see, them fighting with each other, and I'm in the middle of it. But Wonder Woman was great. It was wonderful to see her. Superman was great. Batman was great, except for the fact that he's whining stuff. Lex Luthor. Yes, I know he's, the beginning of Lex Luthor, so to speak, But at the same time, I mean, that man, you just saw when he gave his speech at his charity event. I was like, oh yeah, he's not there. He's not. He's wrong in so many different ways, and so when he finally loses it, that was great. It was done really well. Kind of disappointed, but I understand when they showed the Flash, Cyborg, and what's his name? I just drew a blank. Aquaman. I was disappointed because it was like they only got 30 seconds each. But at the same time, I was happy the fact that they didn't go away completely from the whole movie just to introduce these characters. They were a side note to say, look what's going to be coming. So, but at the same time, I would have been fine with them just showing their emblems and not showing those little vignette things. Because I think the vignettes made you want more and made you curious, but it didn't fit this movie because they're just showing what's coming up, not necessarily what pertains to this movie per se. Aside from Lex Luthor is already tracking down the metahumans. What else? Good movie, like I said, good movie. I would recommend. Honestly, I would give this movie a 3.5, and I would recommend a matinee. We saw, like I said, the 3D, and it was $9. I wasn't upset about paying $9 for it, especially because it was Saturday, the day after it opened up. I think all the bad reviews that people have been saying on this is the fact that they're not comic book people. They're movie critics, and they don't understand some of the little nuances and background stuff that, as a comic book person would know. Or even a person who's not heavily into comic books but still would know. You have to have some sort of background of reading comic books to understand some of this stuff that was going on. Here's another thing I did not realize, and maybe you can explain to me, because I like I said, I've read these comics, but never once did I ever realize that Gotham City and Metropolis were basically across the lake, were across the river from each other. Never got that impression. I mean, I always got the impression that Metropolis was around Manhattan area, New York, and Gotham was roughly about New Jersey area, but not like across the Hudson River from each other. But in this movie, that's what they did, and it was interesting once I realized what it was. Also makes it easier for them to just go back and forth the way they did in this movie, especially when they were like relatively fighting with each other. What's her name? Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Holly Hunter, I believe. I believe that's her. Because I don't write this stuff down, and I really should write this stuff down. But anyways, the actress who plays the junior senator doing the hearings against Superman, I love her, even though I don't know her name. I want to say it's Holly Hunter. But she was great. I'm never gonna look at a mason jar of piss anymore, but like it's not like I've actually seen that in person anyways. I mean, moonshine, yes, but I've never seen a mason jar full of that. But then that's not my kind of crowd to walk around. The crowd that I walked around that did things like that would put it in a Corona bottle, so that way it looked like you're drinking a Corona. But that's another story and another completely different podcast and another life back in San Diego, which I won't mention anything more because this is about Batman versus Superman. If you haven't seen it yet, and I've ruined it with spoilers and stuff like this because I didn't say spoiler alert, I will tell you one thing that don't stay to the end. It's not a Marvel movie, so there's nothing behind. There is not a single thing at the end of credits, so you don't have to stay. So I know Marvel spoiled us by having things at the end, so every smart person stays to the end of the credits so they could catch the little previews. This one doesn't, so you don't have to stay to the credits unless you're a person like me, where I like to stay to the credits because that way the crowd goes through and you don't have to deal with them in the parking garage. And just to check where it was filmed, and some of the music that was in it. Oh, speaking of the music, this was partially done by Hans Zimmer. So it was neat to hear his, and you could tell his style compared to the other composer who wrote the rest of the score. They were slightly different. The new composer did a really good job of trying to mimic Hans Zimmer's feel and style and sound, but it was slightly different. That I don't believe how should I put this? A regular person, an average person with no musical background can understand or get. But it was neat to hear his stuff. I mean, he is a very good composer. And that's all I have. Like I said, we did that. Happy belated Easter for those who celebrate it. I had a nice time over at my mom's. Played with my grandnephew, Samuel. We colored Easter eggs. I haven't done that in decades. I don't even think I did it with my sister's kids growing up. But then I wasn't really around them at the beginning because I was in San Diego. But it was fun. Had a nice time. Jaji was out on the Saturday night, the 26th, and had a good time. I was just so ready to get out of drag, though. My feet were hurting me. My ankle was killing me because I twisted my ankle on Friday night. But it was fun to be out, and got a bit of gossip, but that's another story. I don't do gossip, especially behind the scenes gossip. So, anyways, I do gossip when it pertains to this podcast. How about that? Especially with my opinions, but this is part of the LGBT community and the HIV community here about what's going on, and I can't really divulge on that right now. So you will see another episode of mine Tuesday, and we will go from there. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything outside of I do RuPaul's because this week is Phoenix's Gay Pride, and Joshua Tree has a beer truck over at the Dance Pavilion, as well as that we are in the parade on Sunday morning. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to do something beforehand because we got to get everything ready. But if you are here in the Phoenix area and you want to come to Phoenix Gay Pride, or get into Phoenix Gay Pride, and you are over 21, get your wristband, get your beverage tickets, come over to the Dance Pavilion and buy a beer, or get a beer with a drink ticket, of course, from Joshua Tree. So, one alcoholic beverage per person. You cannot pick up 2 or 3 and give them to your friends because we don't know if they're over 21. But stop by and say hi. I'll be there all weekend from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So, you take care of yourself. All right? Bye-bye.